Crazy. I got slapped by this cold air. Walk out, oh man, what the hell is this? It's so freaking cold here. I was not expecting it.
It's gonna be nice and
warm.
warm.
Oh gosh.
I thought it was
even
gonna
bring
be.
a sweatshirt.
It took
I
me,
think, a year to get used to it again. You getting back from Cali? This is horrible.
Well, hey, while the video's rolling.
Yeah. Nope. To Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Love you, brother.
William Wyatt Perry of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, passed away on Monday, March 16th. He was 26 years old. He was born in Cape Girardeau on December 29th, 1993. He was raised in Jackson and graduated from Jackson High School. He proudly served in the United States Marine Corps, receiving an honorable discharge. Wyatt was the baby of the family, and with that came the privilege of having many nicknames. He was lovingly known as Wyatt Earp, and I'm going to try to pronounce this right, but I'll probably mess it up. Gawai? Gawai. See, I knew I would mess that one up. Prince Harry and Bjorn Ironsides. Though a man of many names, he was also a man of few words. He was kind, compassionate, and had an amazing smile and laugh. He was serious and silly, and kids adored him. He was always the cool uncle. His joy in life was spending time with his family and riding, of course, his Harley. Lady, and I got to meet her, and it was a pleasure, was his Australian shepherd called Hot Mess Bess. Wyatt is lovingly survived by his parents who are here, John and Dee Perry. His grandmother, Fern, you who know her as Ma, Douglas. Brothers Drew and John David Perry, and his sister Lori and her husband Rocky Everett, all of Cape Girardeau. He also leaves behind his nieces and nephews, Ashley Perry, Fletcher Perry, Madison and Gavin Perry, as well as many aunts, uncles, and cousins. He will be greatly missed by all. He was preceded in death by his grandfathers D.L. Douglas and William G. Perry, and grandmother Lucille Perry, and I believe that was D.L. Douglas Jr., right? I'm wondering now if there are those who would have a short, quick story to tell or a remembrance of if the family would allow me to call him Wyatt.
My brother and I grew up with the Perry family. I have many fond memories of time spent with John David and Lori. You all were some of our best childhood friends, and I have not forgotten that. When John and Dee had Drew, I had the pleasure of babysitting for the very first time in my life. I cannot begin to tell you how much it meant to me that you trusted me with baby Drew. Babysitting him became my favorite thing. We would fall asleep together on the couch. He was not only their bundle of joy, he was mine too. I can still feel his little head right here against my heart. Then came Wyatt, and he was just as special. But I was a little older, and I did not get near as much time with Wyatt as I did with Drew. Those two boys are the reasons why I wanted to have a son of my own. When I was planning my wedding and I was trying to choose a maid of honor, I asked myself, what woman besides my mother and my grandmother Shirley really understands me and has always been there for me? And the very first person that came to my mind was Dee. Later, when I found out I was expecting a boy, I remember calling her and telling her that she took all the good boy names. Because of course, when I got ready to name my son, the first names that came to my mind were Drew and Wyatt. So I asked her if she would be offended if I named my son Wyatt. And of course she was fine with it and happy for us. Then life got busy and we don't see each other near as much as we used to. But I dearly love your family, each and every one of you. And every time we're back together, we can pick up right where we left off. And really, friends are just the family that we choose for ourselves. And I'm so proud that we chose you. I want you to know that we can have hope and peace because of two words: grace and mercy. Grace is the good things that God gives to us that we do not deserve. Mercy is when God does not give us what we do deserve because of our sins. We fail him every day.
You know, my Lord was like, come to bed. I was like, no, I can't. And I wrote this 2:30 this morning, Wyatt. I said, to the little man that was my ring bearer in my wedding, to the teenager that baked his own cookies that I ate, I'm sorry for eating them, Wyatt. To the man that wanted to be the best by joining the Marines instead of the Army. I tried so hard, but he wanted to be the best. He said, I can't settle. I will not settle. To the smiling face I saw every day after class. I'm proud of you, my brother. I will always be proud of you. A couple of days ago, my wife, we were going through old photos of Wyatt, and we found a couple of letters from when he was at boot camp. And it talked about movies. Me and Wyatt, we went to see every movie that came out on the opening day. And it was really weird because the movie we were talking about had this quote, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way, no. I had to re-look into it. And the quote said, it is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known. And you guys know that was Charles Dickens that wrote that, but when we were talking about that same movie, it was in the movie, and I couldn't believe it. We always ask for understanding, we ask for meaning, and now I know what you're trying to say. Wyatt, we spent hours talking about love. I just wish I had one more thing to say. I want you to know you are not alone, and I'm here, and I love you. You're my brother. I love you, Wyatt. I'm sorry, guys.
I didn't prepare anything to say today. Didn't know if I would get the opportunity to speak, so just rambling on here. I'll be quick. Me and Wyatt, we first met whenever we first got to the fleet in 2-1. We were roommates, and we were in the same team together. We grew on each other pretty quick. I remember I'd tell him I love you all the time, and it took him 6 or 7 months to finally start saying it back to me. And just, I love him, but I miss him a lot. Just wish I would have stayed connected more. Didn't, but he's a good man. I hope you packed him underwear because he never wore it before. You're telling me that right now. But I love him, and I know everyone over there loves him as much as I do. But good man, and I miss him.
Still don't even feel like he's gone. It hasn't hit me yet, I guess. Wyatt was a really, really loving, caring man. One of the most loving guys, most caring I've ever met. He's the type of guy, if you're standing close to him and you trip and stumble, he's trying to catch you. He was just a great guy. I didn't share a million experiences with him, but I've been around him enough times to know what type of person he was. And he's done so much for me in just a short time that I've known him, as well as my family. Wyatt was part of our MMA team, and I always hoped that he was gonna actually get in the cage and fight, because I knew how amazing he was at combat, and every time I would grapple with him, he was always so strong. Like, he's not, we weigh about the same, but every time I would grapple with him, I would be like, okay, I need to start doing more push-ups and pull-ups, because when he would grab a hold of me, his grip was just so strong, and I would have to use so much brain power to figure out how I'm gonna manipulate this guy, because he was just so strong, but also so delicate with others. And I found that very interesting, because when you grab a hold of him, he's like a tank, but when you talk to him, he's so soft-spoken and just an awesome guy. You know, that's really all I can think every time I think about him, is how nice of a guy he was. Like, he would literally take his clothes off and give them to you if he's seen you shivering. You know, there's not very many people on this earth that were like Wyatt. You know, he touches everybody that he meets. Yesterday, my fiance was crying out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? She's like, Wyatt. And she's had family members that have passed away recently, and I didn't see her shed a tear over them. You know, Wyatt is literally like an angel. Like, my fiance thinks that he was an angel sent here to help people like he's helped my family. And he's just an amazing guy. That's really all I can say, is he was so loving and so caring. And I hate to see somebody like that leave Earth so soon. I knew Wyatt was around the same age as me, but I felt like he was older than me. You know, he was a Marine, and you know, I know he's done a lot of things. Like, just when I think of Marines, I think, okay, this guy is this is a man right here, you know, and I'm a young man. But when I heard he was 26, it broke my heart even more. I couldn't believe it. But I offer my deepest condolences to his family and his friends. I can only imagine what y'all are going through. I don't know how it hasn't hit me yet, and how I haven't broke down and been on my hands and knees crying. I feel like he's not even gone. But we love you, Wyatt. Thanks, guys.
We were in the same platoon, 2-1. We deployed together, just like with all these guys over here.
You were all in
together? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were all 0311 infantry, and deployed in 2014 to 15, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then once we got back, me and Wyatt fapped out, and we stayed in the same barracks rooms together. We were neighbors for about a year, so I really got to know him a lot more personally outside the platoon.
How about you?
I actually met him because he was his neighbor. So, yeah, it was sometimes.
Probably saw a little too much of him.
Yeah, spent some time talking and everything whenever he was getting ready, you know. So that's basically
cool.
how I knew him.
And you?
I was his corpsman. He was actually my first patient when I signed in. He actually laid down his bike. He had a hole in his knee. And first day, first everything, I barely got out of my uniform. And I was in my blues, and it was like, hey, you got a patient already? I was like, who is it? This little scrappy kid. He didn't look like he cared. Like, he had this big hole. He was more mad that his bike got messed up. So had to pack his, and him saying that he wasn't wearing underwear is true. He never wore underwear, and I had to pack it, and all the stuff was in my face. But that's exactly who he was, 100%. He's just a loving, cool guy. After that, we went on deployment. He actually got drunk with us one night, and that was the funniest thing ever. He was like, hey, Doc, I love you, man. I love you, man. Every time. He was just good time. But yeah. He just deployed. He's a good guy, man. I miss him.
Yeah. So the wound or the no underwear was the more memorable of the two?
It was the no underwear, hands down. Hands down.
Bye, Papa.
Thank you, sir.
you.